Hallo und willkommen. Ich begrüße euch aus einer der eindrucksvollsten Freiluftbühnen der Welt. Wir sind hier in St. Margarethen, im Steinbruch St. Margarethen. Hier feiert Turandot am 14. Juli Premiere, Puccinis letzte Oper. Und ich muss sagen, ich bin richtig geflasht von dieser Umgebung hier. Man fühlt sich richtig erhaben, wenn man hier reinkommt. Und erhaben ist auch meine Gesprächsrunde, nämlich im Sinne von sehr erlesen. Ich darf euch gleich einmal vorstellen, wer hier an meiner Seite sitzt. Thaddeus Strassberger, der Regisseur von Turandot, der Oper im Steinbruch. An seiner Seite Celine, Byrne. Sie singt die Rolle der Leo. Neben ihr der Hauptdarsteller, der die Rolle des Kalaf singt, Mikheil, Sheshaberidze. Ich habe es geübt und es stimmt.
Yeah, it was good.
Genau. Und natürlich Daniel Serafin, der künstlerische Direktor der Oper im Steinbruch. Du bist hier sozusagen der Motor, kann man sagen. Ich möchte dich kurz vorstellen. Ich meine, du bist bekannt aus Funk und Fernsehen, aber so im Detail weiß man es vielleicht nicht. Du warst festes Ensemblemitglied am Theater in der Josefstadt und hast weltweit, bist du an zahlreichen Opern- und Konzerthäusern aufgetreten. Dann hast du 2016 die künstlerische Leitung des Vienna Opera Ball in New York übernommen und seit 2019 bist du künstlerischer Direktor der Oper im Steinbruch in St. Margarethen. Thaddeus Strassberger ist preisgekrönter Regisseur und Bühnenbildner. Er hat Nabucco mit Placido Domingo in der Titelpartie und La Clemenza di Tito an der Los Angeles Opera inszeniert, unter anderem. Jetzt bist du hier, lieber Thaddeus. Und ich würde dich bitten, dass du uns mal erzählst, worum geht es denn überhaupt bei Turandot? Was ist denn der Inhalt dieser Oper?
I think it's this big challenge. You want to move from where you are to go to the outside world. I think coming to the theater isn't always about a mirror of seeing yourself, but this metaphor of Kalaf leaving his home country and looking for some sort of love or passion that's beyond, and it's difficult, and there's these series of challenges that have to be overcome, and the result when you do it is unclear. But I think especially after this restricted corona time that there's this sense of wanting to leave the small comfortable place that you're in and to seek new challenges, even if there's risk involved and if you could fail, but it feels somehow that the time is ripe for something new. And I think in the Turandot that everybody is seeking to overcome the fear of the past, the violence of the past, your anxieties and insecurities, and moving forward. And interestingly, Turandot herself, who is completely closed off by the effort of the others around her, is also transformed.
Mm-hmm. So there is one sentence Princess Turandot is repeating. It sounds like Mai nesum mavra. Niemand wird mich je besitzen.
Mai nesum mavra.
Mai nesum mavra, genau.
Mavra.
So it fits perfect in this time. Do you think that the issue of the opera is an issue of these days?
Yeah, I think all good works that are classics are always actual contemporary works, because Puccini's Turandot was written almost 100 years ago, based on a story that's several hundred years older than that, but it only exists in the moment that we, as the artists, are here in the Steinbruch presenting it.
And what I want to add to this is that now we're in a world where a lot of things are online, and this is being recorded and it'll be released in DVD in the future, and I think it'll be shown on TV also, but you cannot beat the live experience. To actually be in a theatre or to be here in Steinbruch in the audience, it's an overpowering experience because you're in the moment and you're feeling it, and you can't get that same experience from watching on TV or from going online. I know we had to do a lot of things online because of the pandemic, But I hope that a majority of the audience will come here, because live theatre is what you need to live and to feel alive. And live theatre is what we need, because we need to perform. If there's no audience, then there's no show. So it's very important that people come and see this wonderful production, because if they don't, honestly, you're missing out, because what he is producing is amazing.
Celine Byrne hat sich schon ein bisschen selbst vorgestellt. Ich tue es jetzt noch einmal. Sie ist Irländerin und sie ist an der Seite weltberühmter Tenöre auf der ganzen Welt schon aufgetreten. Sie hat mir vorhin gesagt, dass sie das erste Mal hier ist in St. Margarethen, aber danach dann heuer noch in Bregenz auftreten wird. Liebe Celine, Celine singt die Rolle der Liu, also die Hauptrolle von Turandot. Celine, is Liu the real heroine of the opera, and how would you describe her as a woman in your words?
No, I think Calif's number one. No.
Well, no, I think the women are always number one. I beg your pardon.
No, well, in this opera we have two very strong women anyway in the libretto. We have Turandot and Liu, and they're both very strong women. In regard to the fact that I'm singing Liu, I think that even though Turandot is more powerful, obviously because of her status being the princess, Liu is more socially aware and emotionally aware. And even though she's slightly naive, so there's always this juxtaposed position that she is in, because she's very naive and very trusting, but yet she's socially aware. And then you have the juxtaposed position between her in the real world and her in the spiritual world. And what's wonderful about this Turandot is it's the story, but it's retold in a different way. We have a wonderful director who's bringing out a different Turandot. Not to give it away, sorry ladies and gentlemen, but Liu does kill herself. But in this wonderful opera, instead of, which is traditional for Liu to grab a dagger and take her own life, here we have a passing of a force. So she passes her emotion and her strength and everything she has onto Turandot, because she's sacrificing herself. In the story, she sacrifices herself to save Caliph because she loves him. And this is where I don't agree with the powerful woman, because she falls in love with Caliph years before because he looked at her. It doesn't happen like that. But in this, she sacrifices herself, I think, for everybody. But mainly because she sees something in Turandot. And if she saves Turandot, she's saving a lot more people than just Caliph, because she's already killed the Prince of Persia and other people. But she's trying to save Turandot from herself. And she gives everything to her. And then when she gives everything to her, she's giving all her force, and then she's left with nothing, and she kind of dissipates into herself. But then she goes to the spirit world, which she thrives again. And in the end, I don't want to spoil it because it's a beautiful ending, but in the end we see Liu going to the spirit world, and we see her becoming the powerful person that she was always meant to be, but in a spirit world. Because
so it's kind
in
of
life,
a transformation.
yes, because in life she still has to be, even though she's a strong woman, there are times where she grows in strength, but she also knows her position, because she's socially aware. She understands that she could get killed at any time just by Turandot clicking her fingers. So she knows, because she's socially aware, when the right time is to come forward and when the time is to retreat. And she's a very caring person, and her emotions guide her because of her love for Caliph, but obviously her kindness, because she looks after Timur and takes care of him. So she's very a kind person, led by her emotions. And in the same way, we have another character, a strong character, Turandot, who's also led by her emotions, but she suppresses her emotions. And because she suppresses her emotions, it then manifests itself into another emotion, where you see her as being cold. So it's a very intricate work. It's not just a story that's been told. It's the display of emotions. It's the metaphors that our director uses on the stage. Symbolism. There's a lot more in depth, and the music itself is different. I've sung this role. This will be my fourth production, and even our conductor is is performing it in a different way that I'm used to, and everything it's a new experience, and it's wonderful to come to a role and have a new experience of that role.
Celine, how long does it take for you to get in an issue like this, to transform you in another person?
It depends. I actually find it more or less not so difficult, because I always try to find something in the character I'm playing that I can identify with, because it's the only way that I can perform. I don't just sing the music, I feel the music. As a performer, first of all, I'm a very emotional person anyway, but when I'm singing, I really do sing from the heart, and I try to identify with my character. And I do identify with Liu in a lot of ways, because I would think that I'm a caring person, but also as well, I am socially aware. I try to be aware of people and aware of things around me. So for me to play this role of Liu, it's not so difficult to transform myself into that character. I love Puccini. Puccini is my fach. Verismo singing is my style of singing, and I'm a Puccini girl, so I love this role.
Thank you. You're smiling.
He's always smiling at the girls.
Mikheil, Sheshaberidze. Celine said she's a Puccini girl. What would you say? Are you a Puccini boy?
I try to be Puccini boy. Puccini's music.
You sing the role of Calaf. Yeah. Okay. So you play the role of Calaf, the main male role, and you have to sing this famous aria. Nessun Doma, right? Nessun Doma. So, what do you particularly like about your role, your performance?
So, the role of Calaf, it's very interesting, because from the beginning we see that he just came to guess these three enigmas because he wants to conquer her. But the reason why he wants to conquer, because he wants to make return his country, which one was lost, which one was conquered from the other enemies, and he lost everything, because still we don't see that Calaf meets his father and Liu. He knows that his father is not alive more, and he lost everything. So this is he risked everything for him. Life doesn't importance. So this is the man who is supposed to do everything. So he's not afraid. But when he discovered that his father is alive, so his mind changed absolutely. So he thinks not only about him, but about his countries, about his father. Because I am not sure that at the beginning he just wants to conquer. Maybe he comes to be killed. Because when you lost everything, no, it's not. It's a normal death. Or you don't want more to be alive. So, but after immediately you see your father dead. It's a so big gift for him from the God that. So he immediately changed his mind, and he wants to conquer everything to make his father happy. And another big surprise is Liu. That he saw, and he meets this unbelievable person who took care of his father, and he's still take care about her. And also in the third act we see that he suicide. So he sacrificed her life for him. So his responsibility gets more important.
Yeah, it's
when he
improving.
absolutely. And another one, it's that what is this big deserve of the Calaf? Big deserve of the Calaf is that he makes to Turandot become good person that before he wasn't, or maybe he wasn't, but it was hidden inside her. He showed everyone that he was a frozen. She's a woman like ice. She's a frozen. She's a without heart. But after, when he sings, Principessa di morte, Principessa di gelo, that you are princess of death, you are princess of ice, I am sure that she feels in this moment, she feels bad, because this becomes after Leo's death. So the role of Calaf has a lot of importance. And you mentioned this very, very famous Nessun Dorma, that every audience loves and wait for this. For this. This is the beautiful music. This is the one of the best and famous aria from the tenor repertory. But I personally, I feel more Non piangere Liu, because in this aria he used something you can understand in this aria how the person he is. Because in Nessun Dorma we can see this. He just saying that, okay, vincerò, I will win, because she couldn't understand my name.
Mikheil, it sounds like you're loving this part and this role. Have you ever dreamed about singing this aria?
I think that this is the dream all of the tenor in the world, to sing this aria.
Well,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there is a absolutely, but especially not only Nessun Dorma, but this party, because there is a lot of tenor who sings Nessun Dorma, but they don't sing the old party. So I'm really happy, and I'm really lucky to sing this party. And especially what I want to say that I want to thanks to Daniel for his invitation here, and that he made us return in the normal life, because it's really unglaublich to do now rehearsals, to be on the stage, to do what we love. And another things that I want to really add, that this is the something magical production.
Mm-hmm.
The people has to come,
it is the first
because this man
after this pandemic year, right? For everybody, I guess.
It's not only about the pandemic; it's about this actual.
No. I'm saying now about this production, because this is the something unbelievable. This is this production has a so beauty that I am sure that 16 performance it's not enough. It's a something. It's a really, and it's a deserve to this man, to the Thaddeus. And what I want to say, it's a really huge pleasure to work with him, because every day how he says that we are finding new things. We are finding. I can say that before I have done two or three production of Calaf, but it's only one where I really I couldn't find what I want, because it's for the age, for the experience it will come. But with him I am trying to find real key of the Calaf. And this is the so beautiful things that sometimes we really stop rehearsal, but we just talk about Calaf, about Liu, about connections between Calaf, between. But it's a really love for me that everything happens with the eyes with my colleagues. That they are really great. They sing fantastically. They are really big professional. It's a huge honor for me to take a part and to sing with them and to sing in this beautiful production.
You know what I feel is that the ensemble, as you said it, everybody is growing together. Shall I speak English now, or shall I stay? Switch, whatever. I can't, my dear. I can't. I would love to. I think the ensemble, and this opera is an ensemble opera, because everybody is connected to everyone, and to have a good harmony is also very important in the cast. And what Thaddeus is bringing together, he actually brings us into a new world, because what we were very much into depth of every role, and I think we need a synopsis still for people that have never seen Turandot, because we were very in depth in the personification of every role. But what Thaddeus is doing with the projections, because as you said it, if I may interpret it, when Liu dies, not in the normal form, she normally stabs herself, and kills herself, and is dead. But to not reveal everything, Liu is transcending, and you see with this amazing projection what is being done on the stage design of Paul Tate-Depot, will be that her soul flies away and later on returns. Yes. Yeah. But this is we're working with a lot of projections, which is even more attractive for this space, because in a normal theater you cannot do this, because you can do it, but it's not that big. And here we have this enormous space, and that's why the first conversations we had when we were sitting actually 2 years ago and thinking, what can we do? What can we do? And you already knew about the projections, and we had this idea of taking this audience on a journey.
A visual spectacle.
A visual spectacle with fire, with stunts, something that a normal theater can't do. And that's what we're living here, and that's why I totally agree, live performances can never substitute any video recording or anything. You have to feel it, you have to feel the heat, you have to feel the burn, you have to feel it.
One huge advantage we had because of the pandemic is with the costumes, because costumes take a long time to make. They're all completely custom designed by Giuseppe Palella, the costume designer. But he designed not only the form of the costumes, but he designed all of the fabric for the printing. He designs it all by hand with watercolors, and then he works it into the costumes. There's hundreds of masks and all of the accessories and the jewelry. And because everybody was on lockdown and was just dying to make something, and so many projects were being cancelled, he just kept pushing all along. And I think we have 3 times as much opulent stuff because everybody was stuck at home just with the handwork making things. And we have such exquisite details of the accessories and the props and the jewelry and the masks and the wigs. I think it's just a sheer opulence of a story that would even work just in an installation on its own without all of the opera. It's so sort of beautiful, the art and the craft coming together, and the style and the taste, I think is really beautiful.
It's the attention to detail. As Daniel said, this is such a wide space, and every inch of that stage and space is utilized, whether it be a projection or whether it be an actor in the corner being part of the scene, or us singing on stage and acting and singing. It's just amazing. The costumes are fantastic. I agree, they're just absolutely...
So you like your costume?
Just the attention to detail. It's not just about me and my costume. I don't make anything about me. It's about the whole picture and how wonderful it is and how fantastic it is. What a wonderful creative team we have, and how I feel very privileged and very honoured to work with such a wonderful creative team, because that in turn makes me become more creative and instills in me a new energy to want to create more. So I just think it's fantastic, and I thank you very much for coming, and I hope to see you all very soon here in Opern-Steinbruch.
Yeah, so it seems that you, especially you 4 here, are connected with a strong, you have a strong connection to each other, yeah? Am I right that you feel like a family already? Is it
They
something like
call me the
that?
mommy, so it must be.
You're becoming like a family? Yeah.
I think that's one thing people that don't work in this industry don't understand, that our social life and our professional life and our creative life and our passion and our hobbies, it's all kind of wrapped into one. And I think we all felt it really really strongly
you
during the
stick together
pandemic,
for a long
because a lot
time.
of people thought, oh, I'm not going to go to my job, I'm doing Kurzarbeit, but it's okay, I get paid anyway, I'm with my kids and I can
No
do this.
Kurzarbeit here.
But with us, we have no Kurzarbeit. And
Long Arbeit.
but even we didn't just lose our jobs, we also lost our spiritual, artistic families,
Our passion.
Of course.
And
You know,
bringing this back
Yeah.
together,
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah.
has been very, very strong in a big way to bring it back, and these sort of connections. I mean, we come to these rehearsals and we speak 6 different languages every day. We're coming from every corner of the planet here, but then we come together and we're just making this one thing, and it feels really right.
So it is a special feeling to get on a stage after 1.5 years of nothing, right? For everybody here.
I think for me, I've done a lot of things online, and
Yeah, but that's
they've
not
been
the same.
successful.
How would you describe
No, it's still-
online and the live performance?
well, it's still great to perform, you know, but it's one thing to perform, and then it's another thing to perform in front of a live audience. And you know, this is my profession. I'm an opera singer, but my vocation in life is to be a mom, and I am a mom of 3 children. And it was wonderful in a way with the pandemic that I was able to be at home and everything. But I did miss my passion, and my passion is my job. I love my job, and I'm very, very lucky because I'm so happy that I'm able to be successful in a job that I love. Not everybody has that. And it's an outlet as well of expressionism. And when during the pandemic you don't have that outlet, you don't know what's wrong, and you're questioning what's going on, because you can't identify it. And even though I would be very self-aware, I didn't know what was wrong. And then I realized as soon as I got on stage again, that's what it was. I had no outlet. My passion was being suppressed. I felt like, yeah.
Celine, in German we say, das ist kein Beruf, sondern eine Berufung.
Genau.
Yeah.
Did you bring your children with you?
They're coming next week.
Great,
Yeah.
and they stay with you till the end of the
Yes, please God, yeah.
production. That's
Well,
nice.
after that, yeah. Yeah.
How old are your children?
They're old enough that then people will know how old I am. They're actually bigger now. They're 15.
That's nice.
15, 20 and 25.
Wow. That's
So-
great age. Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
so they're big now, but they love it as well. They love coming to the opera and everything. And what's wonderful is as well, there's more and more young people coming to opera. I would say this as well, that I know we have a huge following here in Opern-Steinbruch, and we get a lot of people every year, and it's wonderful that they come. But I would actually reach out to people who haven't gone to an opera before. The reason that this is still in the repertoire, and the reason that Turandot is so popular, is because it's so wonderful. The music is amazing. The story is wonderful. And I would reach out to people who haven't gone to an opera before to definitely come to this, because it's not just about going to the opera. This is about having an experience.
Great. So one last question. I wanted to know, ich stelle die Frage jetzt auch in die ganze Runde. Is there any positive you've learned from this pandemic year or through this last year? So maybe one another could
Ist auf Deutsch, auf Englisch? Was ist?
however you want.
Good.
I think we
I
switch anyway.
think we learned a lot to evaluate, to rethink processes, to actually adapt quickly, to change. The whole pandemic was not standing still and doing nothing, no. Making new ideas, having new plan A, B, C, D, name them all, to be actually very quickly in adapting and thinking what can be changed, what can be done, how can we access, how can we actually take this and make it to an advantage. This was the whole thing. I never thought, even retrospective, it was, yes, tragic. So productions were cancelled, jobs were being made redundant. But at the end, I think, out of everything that actually, where there's no sun for a long time and then comes the sun, I think it grows. And that's what will happen, and we will see in the next few years, I think.
Mikheil, how do you see it? What did you learn in the last year for yourself?
First, I want to say that in this pandemic situation, for me it's a forced production. I was lucky that in the August last year I was in Taiwan, and I have done Turandot, my first production during the pandemic. What I have learned, I learned a lot of things. I started to appreciate life. I started to appreciate the relationship between the friends, between the with the people, and I had a lot of time for reading, for studying, that before I had no, and it was some kind of the irritation from the life that we don't know what happens. We don't know. We will we will be alive, not will be alive. We will sing. We will go on this stage, and it was some kind of the challenge, no? But I don't stop stopping. I don't stopping love my job.
Your profession,
because it's I knew that tomorrow there is a we have a curfew in Georgia. We had a curfew, so I know I have to go in the store to buy something to come back, and then but I know that at 3 o'clock or 5 o'clock, I have a lesson. I have the rehearsal with the pianist. I have to study this like a normal day I was doing. Always. So
you had a plan always.
Because I wanted to be survived, just and now we are here, and I'm so happy, and I want
to see it.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, yeah. And what I want to say again, that this production is we mentioned at first that it's like a family. Yes, absolutely, it's a family, because with working with Thaddeus, with Maestro Finzi, and with my colleagues, we are doing together this, because if you don't do this together, and you lost absolutely. And everything started from him, that he made this.
He brought everybody together.
Together. He made and it's
great.
He picked a good team.
Absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely.
Okay.
And I'm very happy with this wonderful team.
You have to say that, you're on TV.
Celine,
I wouldn't even off TV.
yeah.
Well, ich habe so viel gelernt.
Just a few learnings.
During the pandemic, my father died, and my mother-in-law, who lived with us for 8 years, she also died. They died within a week of each other, and that was early in the pandemic. And it's not so much that I learned anything, it's that I was able to cope better by instilling the qualities that I already had, but reinforcing them. I'm a very positive person. I always look for the silver lining. I always look for the good in people, and I always look for the best in a situation. So in many ways, I just tried to be positive all the way through it, and it helped. But I also saw its effect on other people as well, because I know what it's like to be down, and I know what it's like to be very high, and I also have that in my career and with the job. So I was able to cope better than most. And even in my own situation, having lost my father and mother-in-law, and having lost my job, and also being the principal earner in my family, and losing money was also difficult as well. But you always have to look for the good in the situation, and there were always people that are worse off. And we can't really complain, you know. I know everything affects us, and we have to deal with the thing that's affecting us. But there's always somebody that's worse off, and you just have to stay positive. That's all.
For these words.
Yeah, I was going to hand you up to the mic.
I think that very similarly in opera, sometimes there's conflicts in production, because there was budgets and there's personalities, and I think it often comes down the real reason is everybody wants to do well and they want to do the best show possible with the design and the elements, but it can manifest itself in a, there can be conflict. And I think after the pandemic, I really made a conscious decision when coming back to it that when there's a choice between something that's sort of unpleasant or pleasant or positive or negative, to just always choose the positive way. And my role as a director, as a designer, or sort of a manager of the event, that I realize that I have a responsibility in setting that tone, and that when people do, when things happen, that I think it's really important to instill a sense of working together and positively finding solutions to what are problems that we all want to solve, and to not get stuck in complaining. I think in the pandemic time, there was so much negative information, and I think I learned a lot about how to filter the news and the input that's coming in, because it's very easy to go, third wave, second wave, new lockdown, new curfew, new variant, new mutation, and you can think, oh my God, the world is ending. But as Misha said, like, no, there's things that are happening that are moving forward, and that you can really, we have not only a choice, I think that we have a responsibility to ourselves and other people in our society to look for something that is more positive. And I think that coming out of this, it really taught me that that's an easy choice to make.
Yeah, great. Thank you. Thank all of you.
Thank you so much.
I think we've learned a lot today, not only on Turandot, but also on life skills and how to see the little things in life and the positive little things in life. Daniel, ich möchte dir gerne auch das Schlusswort überlassen. Kommt bitte alle am 14. Oder ab dem 14. kann man das so sagen?
Bis zum 21. August. Das sind, wie gesagt, 16 Vorstellungen, die wir spielen, und wir freuen uns auf unser Publikum.
Dürfen wir noch über die Kartenpreise
natürlich,
etwas wissen?
Die Kartenpreise, es gibt einige Kategorien, die Karten beginnen bei 28 € und gehen, glaube ich, hinauf bis 150. Also ist für jeden was
leistbar.
dabei. Leistbar.
Und es ist ein Erlebnis hier. Ich kann es nur bestätigen, schon allein, dass wir hier sitzen, ist ein Erlebnis.
Und insbesondere auch die Kulinarik. Man kommt nicht nur her, um ein Festival zu sehen, sondern auch um eine kulinarische Erlebnisreise zu haben. Und einfach diesen Steinbruch, der einzigartig weltweit ist, einfach zu sehen. Also kommen Sie, genießen Sie, staunen Sie und fühlen Sie sich wohl.
Ja. Wir danken euch fürs Zuschauen. Bitte teilen an alle eure Freunde und Bekannten, wenn ihr das gesehen habt. Liken sowieso. Bitte verbreitet unseren Beitrag auch. Und wir freuen uns, euch am 14. Juli bei der Premiere oder danach zu sehen. Vielen, vielen Dank. Danke. Ciao.
Danke.
Tschüss.